Welcome back, YouTube. This is your host, Jonas Caribe, aka pititgou, aka your big bro in music. Back here with another video. I hope you're all doing well. I have another video today, and I hope you all will enjoy it. Now, in my previous post, I told y'all that I was going to show you how to actually post a sound into your keyboard. So let's say if you're trying to transfer something from either another instrument like a guitar or another keytar or bass, what have you, I'm going to show you how to actually extract what's called a sample, put it into your keyboard, or it can also be your digital audio workstation. It doesn't matter, whatever you're working with, it'll work. And I'm going to show you how to actually use that sample into your other instrument so that you can play the sound. So it's basically transferring from one instrument to another. All right. So as always, if you haven't, please use this opportunity, subscribe, share, and like, and we'll be back shortly. Keep it locked.
Say we want Jesus. We want Jesus. We want Jesus. Forever I pray, Lord. We bum Jésus. We bum Jésus. We bum Jésus. Tout le temps m'observe you.
All right, welcome back. Now, previously I showed y'all how to make a Kompa keytar sound, and I got a lot of good feedback from that video. So if you haven't yet, use this opportunity as well to check that video, but only after watching this, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to transfer my keytar sound from here. I'm going to put it into my Fantom, okay? Now, if you remember previously, I plugged in my pedals, which I still have here. So I have my chorus and delay plugged into my keytar, and I already have a keytar sound in my Fantom. So the only difference is I'm going to add the analog pedals, so it's going to make it sound live. And that way I don't even have to use my keytar. Sometimes I could just use my Fantom to play the same exact sound. All right. Now, to achieve this, it is sort of a complicated process. So I'm going to go step by step with y'all. Okay. And if you don't remember, I'm just going to play a sample of what this sounds like. Okay. Forgive me, I'm playing it through my JBL portable speaker just for the video. But you'll get the idea. So actually, it might be a little clipping. All right, so it sounds really clean, very nice. I have the octave down one. Okay. So the very first thing is once you have everything hooked up, you have the sound exactly the way you want it. The next thing is, depending on what keyboard you have, since I have the Fantom G, there's an opportunity to actually plug in your instrument into the keyboard here. So what I did was I plugged the output from my pedals, remember, because I do have that plugged in, and I have it going into the line in of the keyboard here. And on the Fantom it says mic/guitar input. Even though it says mic and guitar, don't worry about it. You can always plug in any instrument you want. So in this case, I'm plugging in my keytar. And then you also want to make sure there's a switch here for guitar high Z. Now, because it's a guitar sound, and if you were using a mic, you would put the Fantom on. But if you're plugging in any other instrument, just put it on guitar high Z. And then, of course, you want to adjust your level. So there's a level knob in the back of the Fantom where you can adjust the levels. You don't want it to be too high, but you don't want it to be too low either. So you can mess around with the levels just to see what sounds right for you. So once you do that, from there, we're actually going to do a few things here. Okay. So like I showed you in my previous tutorials, first you need an initial patch. because we're going to make a new sound. So the very first thing is we're going to do a sample. Okay. So here, I actually don't have too much free space. So I would recommend that you clear out as much space as possible if you're trying to do a lot of sounds, because it does fill up pretty fast. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the octave button. So I'm just going to leave it neutral. So whenever I play, I guess this is middle C, right? So this is middle C. Okay, so it's going to be very important to know where your samples are. I mean, where your range is. So that's why I put it on neutral. So the thing is, you're going to use this C note. We're going to register this one as middle C. So you would record each sample using the C note. Okay, and we're going to do octaves. So we're going to go back and forth. So we're going to call this C4, and then we're going to go down an octave to C3, C2, so on and so forth. And then we're going to do the upper range like C5, C6, etc. And then I'm going to show you what to do afterwards. All right, so just let's take a break, and I'll show you. Okay, so like I said, the very first thing is we're gonna do is we're gonna check our levels. So right now, I would say it's about too low. So maybe, and you can check right here if your levels are good. Because if I do it too much, it's gonna start clipping. So right about there should be fine. It shouldn't be too crazy. Okay. So we're gonna do what's called sampling. Okay. And then we're gonna do auto trig. So the key thing is you're just gonna press the note with a high velocity. Just hold it for like maybe 1 or 2 seconds, and then you can stop the sample. So this is gonna be labeled as C4. Remember. Okay. So on the keyboard here, I have a function called auto trig. I'm just gonna engage that, and what that means is as soon as I press a note, it's gonna start recording. Okay. On a DAW, I'm pretty sure you have those functions as well. All right. Okay, so that's a sample. That's what it sounds like. And you can actually modify the tail here if it's too long. You can trim it a little bit. You zoom in, and you don't want to cut it too close. But very important, you always want to register the original key. So in my case, I put this one as C4. All right, and from there, it's pretty straightforward. What you do is you save this, and then you can name it as whatever you want. So we're going to name the individual notes. Okay, so this one, I'm just going to put it as GUIT for short for guitar, and then I'm going to put C4 just so that I remember. You can name it whatever you want. It's just to keep yourself organized. Okay. So from here, oh great, it says memory full. All right, 1 second, y'all. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, y'all. I guess I should have taken my own advice, right? It turns out I didn't have enough space. So now that it's free, we have enough room. I'm going to save it, like I said before. So just write that. Shouldn't take too long. Now we have the very first note, which is guitar 4. Guitar C4, I should say. So now, next, we're going to do the other ones. Same process. So go back to your sampling. And then this time I'm going to do C3. Okay. So same process. Do sampling, auto trig. Stop. And then Maybe clean it up a little bit if there's too much on the tail, because you don't want empty space in your sample. Okay, very good. And don't forget to change the original key. This is going to be C3. That's right. And then, of course, save it under samples. Now we're going to put guitar, or glitz short for guitar. And we're going to say C3. Delete this stuff. Okay, right. Now, because on my keytar I have a limited range, so now it makes sense to go down 1 octave, because otherwise you don't have the notes here. So I'm just going to hit minus once, and then see, now this C3 is up 1, and now this is C2. Okay, I don't know if we should do C1. We'll see. Anyways, let's go back to sample, and then sampling. We're gonna do C2 now. Auto trig, ready, set, stop here. Oh, I messed up. Sample is. Sorry about that, y'all. I hit the wrong button. Let me just delete these and redo that. So that you delete. Mistakes happen, so don't be tough on y'all. If you make a mistake, it's fine. Stop. And then I always preview it just in case. Same thing. Clean up the tail. Okay. Actually, that might be too deep into it. Yeah, maybe a little more. So what you need to understand is, like, the lower frequencies, they fade differently. So always keep an eye out for that. So yeah, just do the same thing. Guitar, and then just label this as C2. Delete. Okay. Oh, I forgot to do something. I forgot to change the original key. It's very important to know that, because otherwise the keyboard is going to do strange things. It's not going to recognize what you're trying to do well. Okay, so now I guess we'll do C1. We'll see what that sounds like. Okay, so sampling, and then we're going to do -1 again. Yeah, that's really low. So we're going to try that. Right. Stop. Very low. Yes. Yes, indeed. Right about there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, now this is going to be C1. Okay. And then save. Select. Write that in. Very good. Now, let's do the other registers, the higher ones. Okay, so now I'm going to remove all the octaves, and then remember we started here, which is C4, but now we're going to do C5. Okay, sampling, sampling, auto trig. All right, we're making progress here. Almost there. So look for C5. I passed it. Okay. So C5, preview, and then let's clean it up at the end a little bit. And loop here. Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. And then save. So this is going to be guitar. C5, right? Perfect. Write that in. And then now we're going to do the very last one, which is C6. Okay, very high pitched. Auto trig. Stop. And then endpoint, we're going to adjust it. Oh, geez, that was a little longer one. Okay. Maybe a little more. Okay. And then, of course, fix the original key to C6. There we go. And then save. And believe me, this is probably the longest part, I would say. The rest is very straightforward. Once you do it like this, delete that, okay, delete, and then save. Very good. All right, so now let's go back to, make sure you're in single mode if you're on the Fantom. We're going to create another patch, so go to your patch list. Okay, go to assign, select patch, and then you're going to go to initial patch. You're going to create one from scratch, okay? So then the very first thing is go to patch edit, all right? And then pro edit. So this is going to be a guitar sound. So I'm going to put it under electric guitar. I'm not going to mess around with any of these. Just going to keep it very straightforward. Mind you, with these, always keep in mind that the sound isn't always going to sound as clean as it was normally. So the goal is to get it as close to the original sound as possible. And that's just because of file transfer. The sample might lose some quality. There are ways to sort of prevent that, but you need to buy super expensive equipment. For most of y'all, you probably just want to get by with the sample as is. So I wouldn't recommend going too crazy with it. And then the advantage of having the sound is that you can always add your own effects and make it sound better or as close as the original sound as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our wave section here, and then we're going to go to wave group. The very first tone, we're just going to put multi-sample, all right? And then because this is going to be a multi-sample, so you go here and we're going to create an initial multi-sample, okay? And that we're going to find that in number 4. You see here it says initial multi-sample, and just leave it like that. Okay. So actually, let's go back to single. We're gonna come back here. So don't worry if it erases, that's fine. We'll fix that later. Give me 1 second here. Let me just go through this list. have different sounds there. Okay. Oops. Okay, yeah. So going back here, we have initial patch 172. Go to patch edit, click on utility menu. This is what I forgot to tell you. Click on utility menu and then go to multi-sample edit. It's very important. So select that, and then now you have a keyboard here, and this is where we're going to use the different assigns. So let's look at our list, and then we're going to go to initial multi-sample number 4, because I have other samples here, but number 4 is empty. So I'm going to select that. Now it's asking me where do I want to assign things. Okay, so first thing is I'm going to look for my C4, right? And you can see it says here C4, no assign. So I'm going to actually go into assign, and now I have a list of samples that I have. So I'm just going to simply look for guitar C4, select that, and you see from here this is going to be C4. Okay, but what I forgot to do was I forgot to give the range. So now I just have this note playing it, but I don't have the other ones playing. So you need to actually do this, hold C4 and hold B4. See? So now you have a range, and then we're going to go to assign and then assign that to C4. So now you have, I don't have C5, but you see? It automatically fills the other notes for you based on C4. So for the next notes, we're going to do the same thing. So why don't we do the lower registers first, and then we'll do the high ones. So the next step is to hold down C5 and then hold down B5. Okay, and then assign. We're going to go to guitar C5, select that. So now you have for some reason it sounds like an organ, the lower sound, but well, we can always edit that later. And then next step, we're going to do C6 to B. No, what am I saying? Oh, that's why it sounds weird. I did it backwards. So this should be actually C3. Pardon me, y'all. I know I was confused about something. So this is C3. That's why it sounded like a weird sound before. Okay. So now, that's why it's important to label things. So do the same thing for C2. Yes, C2. And then assign, go to C2. I like to double check. And then for the lower range, because we did do C1, I'm going to have to go down an octave. Okay. And now this is going to be our C1 range. So assign this to C1. Really good. You see how there's a smooth transition? I'll play all of them when I'm done. So what am I missing now? So let's put the octave back to normal. And then we're going to do C5 now. This is the real C5. Okay. So assign C5 to this. And then we're going to do C6 to B6. Assign that. Select. Okay, actually, we'll do this last range for C6. We'll use the same sample to do C7 because I don't like having this last note empty. That's just my thing. It's up to you. So now it fills it in automatically, which is nice. Now, in theory, you could just use one note if you wanted to do your ranges. However, I don't recommend that because, like I said, as you do these samples, you do lose quality. So it's good to have these C checkpoints because it just makes your sound cleaner, sound more close to the original sound. So now we're gonna hit save, and you can save this as any name. I'm just gonna put actually let's call it keytar, all right? Because it's technically a keytar. So key. If it'll take the full thing. Keytar. Whoops. Okay, keytar multi-sample. Okay, so save that, write it. So now we're gonna go back to our patch, and now we go to Pro Edit. And now you see how number 4, it says keytar multi-sample here. That's all set. Okay, so now let's go back to general, and let's assign it to the, because I had to change it. So back to electric guitar, and then you can name this patch whatever you want. So I'm gonna save it as keytar. Keytar. And then I might do variations. So I'm just going to save this as keytar 1. Now, at this point, once you save it, so it's pretty close. I mean, if you hear, oh, for some reason I'm clipping right now. So I can always go in and add effects. Like in my previous videos, you've seen me adding delay, reverb, things of that nature, chorus. So from here, I could probably mess around with that a little bit. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to cut it here. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'm always looking in the comment section. Again, feel free to subscribe, share, and like. And keep an eye out for more videos coming soon. All right, y'all. Stay safe.